Good day everyone. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. I am sorry for the delay. I had a guest, so I had to spend some time. So let us take up the webinar for this new week. Good morning to one and all. Asian session live market analysis March 15th between 5 and 5:30 GMT. So it is a simple market tracking technique using the live market code page. So we can view the live market code page using the link. I'll give the link for the same. You can open it in a browser. I'll focus the camera over that of the live market code page. Let us see where exactly the currencies are. Euro is around 1.3737, 1.3739 is the R, 1.3728 is the low, 1.3783 is the high. The net change is 29 pips negative. So it indicates that it opened higher and slowly started making a downward move. And in the case of GBP also, 1.5159, 1.5162 are the calls. Then the low is 1.5154. Market is trading around near that of the low. 1.5196 is the high. And on Friday they showed the psychological level 1.52. And today they opened it slightly lower and the net change is 45 pips negative. So when compared to Euro, GBP has corrected about 45 pips or 20 pips more than that of Euro. Then in the case of USD-Yen, 90.56 is the low. Currently market is trading around 90.54, 90.57. 90.94 is the high. Net change is 4 pips positive. So you come across in all the three pairs USD gaining move to start with. Then in the case of USD CHF, 1.0598, 1.0601 are the current level. 1.0569 is the low. There was a quick drop and subsequently from there they made the rise. And 1.0608 is the high. Currently market is trading around that of the high. The net change is 21 pips positive. So when Euro has made a net change, a negative of 28 pips, CHF has made a gain of 21 pips, which indicates that CHF is gaining lesser level when compared to that of Euro drop. So that will invariably have an influence with regard to Euro CHF, and Euro CHF has dropped below that of 1.56 on Friday, and currently it is trading around 1.4560. 1.4562 is the low, and they wanted to make a brief downward stop and here and subsequently make the rise above that of 1.4578 in the case of Euro CHF, and then subsequently it is expected to gain above that of 1.46 area. And it's a lower level consolidation with a downward stop in the case of Euro CHF. Then in the case of Euro GBP, you find that net change is 6 pips positive, so which indirectly indicates that Euro drop is lesser when compared to that of GBP drop. As a result, Euro GBP is making a small firming up move. Then in the case of the commodity pairs, USD CAD is making a lower level swing again. Slowly every day they are making a drop of 20 pips and subsequently making the swing. A similar pattern was seen in the case of USD CHF about 4-5 months back, and they used to drop every day 20 pips and then start holding and inducing the traders to liquidate all their long positions out of distress condition or when they start losing their patience. Then subsequently they started rising USD CHF and it has gone to that level of 1.08, and subsequently you find that it is coming down again to that of 1.05 area. Then USD CAD is expected to catch up to that of CHF level. Only then they will start making further rise. So both of them, that is USD CHF and USD CAD, are expected to make further gains or further rises after bringing to that of the parity. Then in the case of Australian dollar, it opened higher 0.92 and subsequently made a quick drop, and net change is only 10 pips negative, but it made a very big rise and then the drop. Current level is 0.9141 and the low is 0.9131 and the high is 9201. So net change is only 10 pips, but they made a quick upward stop and then dropped Australian dollar. So in the case of the yen crosses, Euro yen and GBP yen, you find the net change is negative to start with nominally. And on Friday, you would have noticed that when Euro and GBP were gaining the levels, USD yen was alternatively making moves. USD yen went up to 90.90 and then quickly came to 90.22, then again gone up to 90.56. As a result, what happened in the case of the yen crosses, there were not much drops. So many traders who had taken the short positions in the case of Euro yen and GBP yen, they are not giving the profit booking opportunity at that time, and now they are making the drop. So on Friday, you would have noticed that Euro was trading around that of 1.5767 and the high was 1.3795. So almost closer to that of 1.38, which is considered as a very strong resistance level by many of the analysts. And similarly, in the case of GBP, 1.52 was considered as a very strong resistance level. But why the players should rise up to that level and then subsequently drop? In case if they are gained up to that level, then what they will do with such buy positions? Around 1.3795, they have taken a buy position. They will not be in a position to book profit. Even now, they are not in a position to book profit. In the case of GBP, above that of 1.52 or 1.5196, whatever the buy positions the players have taken, they will not be able to book profit. Are they not supposed to rise it and book profit and then subsequently make a drop? Yes. We will see how exactly today's market moves are going to be. I will focus the camera over that of the PowerPoint presentation. Now during the Japanese session, an upward gap opening, swing and slide are the expected move. Then during the European session, firm up move and then slide is expected. Then during the US session, a swing near that of the low and firm up is expected. And the resistance is becoming the support. And once the resistance becomes the support, probably it will give the trigger for everybody to go in for a long position. But subsequently, they are expected to slide again during that of the late European session and then swing and firm up. And one of the most important thing what they are going to do is that tomorrow during the Japanese session, they are expected to make a very quick downward stop in the case of Euro and GBP and subsequently gain the levels. And tomorrow, you know that there's going to be the FOMC interest rate decisions. Before that, they will make the downward stop and then subsequently, they are expected to gain the levels significantly in the market. So you will find the big beginning false move is not going to end with the of the first day itself, and it could be dragged till that of Wednesday. There will be quick drop now and then subsequently they will accumulate the buy positions. They will try to hit the stops above that of the high and try to hit the stops below that of the low and try to earn from either side of the market moves. So keep that in mind. Now from today onwards, there is going to be a change in the market timing. So namely Japanese session 0030 to 7:30 GMT, that is as usual. Gap time is 7:30 to 8 GMT, no difference in that. But European session is going to have a lesser time frame, 1 hour shorter. So 0.80 to 13 GMT is the European session. Then the gap time is 13 to 13:30 GMT. Then US session is 13:30 to 20:30 GMT. So US session, instead of starting around 14:30 GMT, it will start by 13:30 GMT. So 1 hour of the gaining will be seen in the case of US session. But the session will gets over by 20:30 GMT instead of 21:30 GMT. So from 20:30 GMT to 003 GMT is going to be the gap time before the start of the next day. Then subsequently by end of the month you will find the daylight saving system will be incorporated in Europe. As a result, you will find 30 minutes of reduction in the case of the Japanese session. So 0030 to 7 GMT will be the Japanese session. Then 7 to 7:30 will be the gap time. Then 7:30 to 13 will be the European session. So as the time comes, then during the Asian session webinar, I'll display the timings again for your reference. And keep in mind all the gap time moves are false moves. So with regard to the initial highs and the initial lows, you find Euro formed the initial low of 1.3735 and subsequently they cut the low and formed a new low 1.3728 and the high is intact 1.3783 and they are expected to breach it during the European session. And in the case of GBP 1.5161 is the low and they breached the low, 1.5154 is the new low and 1.5196 is the high. They are expected to breach the high during the European session. Then in the case of CHF, 1.0569 is the low and which is intact. 1.0604 was the initial high. They formed a new high, 1.0608 and the upside. Then the case of USDN, 90.56 and 90.94 is the high, which is intact and they may not act very much in the case of USDN. To start with, during the US session, they will try to make an downward stop and subsequently make an upward stop on the market. Then in the case of Australian dollar, there is a very quick 70 pips drop. 0.9131 is the low and which is intact. 0.9201 is the high and which is also intact. The market is holding near the double low and they could make a quick downward stop around 6:30 GMT. Then quickly gain the levels during gap time and the start of the European session and then try to make an upward stop. And then in the case of USD CAD, 1.0167 is the low and which is intact. 1.0186 is the high, which is also intact. You find that every day they are trying to make about 19 to 20 pips swing in the case of USD CAD. So try to avoid taking positions in that until such time they consolidate and let them make the moves, and once it goes above that of 1.03 then probably you can try to take a position. Then it will be very quick for you to make swing trades. Otherwise, if you are doing position trade and whenever they are making a downward stop and try to take a buy position and try to close it when they make an upward stop and or keep stop at entry, so that you will not accumulate more position. Every 20 you will not accumulate more position. At the same time, you will be able to fine tune and get the best entry possible if you try to keep stop at entry during the drop. Now let me minimize the PowerPoint presentation and take up the questions which are asked here. Meanwhile, I'll fix the camera over that of the live market code page. Okay, what is the projection for gold? Gold is expected to again make an upward gain in this particular week. Probably it can gain up to 1150 level and then subsequently make that drop. Can we see 1.0150 level in the case of USD CAD? Yeah, anything is possible as far as the market is concerned. Dropping another 20-30 pips is not a big deal for the players. They find cluster stops below that and they will try to definitely make an attempt. And if there are short selling and the limits are there, then they will avoid showing this. So just making a downward stop for 20-30 pips or an upward stop for 20-30 pips is a daily effort. So don't think that it is possible or impossible and things like that. But if there is a drop of 150 pips, 200 pips or a rise of 150 pips, 200 pips, then we may have to use the forecast model. And even when the traders are not available in this market, everybody is watching what is going to happen in the market. We are able to see the market is making swings. So the players have got the capacity or the players have got the tact of making swings in the market by doing circular trades. So hitting below the low, hitting above the high by another 20-30 pips is not a big deal for them. And that is the way they earn money from the rubber market. Then how low will Euro and GBP go in that downward stock? See, as far as my estimate is concerned, they could drop another 100 pips in the case of Euro and another 150 pips in the case of GBP and then quickly make the rise. And that buy will be a very good buy for a position trade. You can do small buy and sell trade now, but try to exit when they make the rise. But a position trade buy will be when there is a deep correction. And that could happen by tomorrow. And probably they will make use of the FOMC rate decision time as a trigger time for the market. And before that, they could make a downward move. And after the decision making, they may make one more downward swing. Then on Wednesday, they could start very low and then subsequently gain all the way the levels from midweek. So Monday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday Japanese session, they are expected to make downward stop in an unexpected way using some trigger and then subsequently later part of Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday, they are expected to gain the levels and go above that of 1.38 in the case of Euro, go above that of 1.52 in the case of GBP and sustain those levels to gain further during the next 2 weeks of the month. Then also in the next month, they are expected to gain the levels. Have you seen the low for the Japanese session in Euro? Yeah, for the Japanese session, low is set. Probably they may go and do a little bit of downward stop during the around 6:30 GMT. Then subsequently gain the levels and breach the high. Then make an upward stop and hold there for some time. And then suddenly drop towards the late European session. At that time, they could breach the low again and then subsequently small firming up move could be seen during the US session. But tomorrow, they are expected to drop significantly from the European session. So every day they will try to open upward and then start dropping it. And people think that they are building sell positions. But it is not so. They will make the market appear that it is not able to breach the resistance. And it appears like a strong resistance. The market is not able to really go above that. So anybody walking across the street will think that why not I take a sell position here. This is a very attractive level, 1.38 in the case of Euro and 1.52 in the case of GBP. Then subsequently, they will say that, okay, the fundamentals has changed to the technical analysis. And as a result, they are expected to gain the levels in the case of Euro and GBP. Then, how high will USD CAD go today? USD CAD will have a narrow range swing and I'm not expecting much of a upward gains today, being the first day of the week. They will induce all the earlier week long holders to liquidate and anybody who is trying to buy, they will discourage by not pricing it. And then subsequently they could rise towards close of US session or during tomorrow. Whenever there is a quick drop happening in Euro and GBP, they will make use of that to create the USD gaining sentiment. At that time, they can rise USD CAD. Please repeat your view for USD and USD yen. Okay, USD in relation to that of Euro and GBP. As I said that they are expected to make downward moves today. And before that, there will be an upward move above that of 1.38 in the case of Euro during early European session and also in the case of GBP around 1.52 and sustain there for till mid-session or late session, then induce the traders to take buy positions technically, then subsequently drop. Then probably tomorrow European session, they will make a very good drop and make volatile move before the FOMC rate decision time. Then after the FOMC rate decision time, on Wednesday, the Japanese session, they will make a one downward move and then subsequently gain the level. So you will come across very volatile moves till Wednesday. Early Japanese session, the volatility is expected. Then in the case of yen, they will try to consolidate near that 40 pips range of 90.50 to 90.90 and subsequently make a downward move. Probably they can show the level of 90.20, 90.22. Then gain the level. Probably tomorrow they will, or to US session or tomorrow they will go above that of 91 and try to see. So whenever there is a quick downward move, you try to buy USDN, and when they show a gain of 100 pips, try to book profit. If you hold it for a long time, then they revisit those levels. Thomas, what is your view on S&P 500, I suppose? So, as far as stock markets are concerned, in this month they are expected to lose the levels unexpectedly. So you have to carefully trade in stock market. Don't become bullish, and they are trying to create bullishness and trying to offload the positions. And don't try to relate it to that of Euro and GBP also. When stock rises, Euro and GBP will rise. Don't try to relate it that way. They are expected to gain the levels in the case of Euro and GBP and slide the stock market. But if you are trying to take sell positions, and you have to take it carefully, and whenever they are near the high, you try to take sell position. Just like that, if you try to take a sell position, then it might be difficult. We are looking for a buy and sell trade for Euro and GBP in the early European session. Yes. This is a question from Eric. So we can do sell and buy trade in the case of Euro and GBP. When they breach the high and sustain their not breaching the new high for more than 30 minutes. You know the rules you have to apply. Simply around 38, if you try to take, they show 38.50, then you might become panic. So let them cut the high and stay above the high during the European session. And stop cutting the new high for more than 30 minutes. Then watch and try to take a sell position near that of the high. You'll be able to see the profit booking opportunity. Once the position start making profit, try to keep stop at entry. The position makes about 20 to 30 pips profit, then try to keep stop at entry. That's a very important strategy you need to follow. Otherwise, if you simply do a buy and sell trade or a sell and buy trade, you might be hit very badly during the stop and moves. Then Arun, so how do we come to know about the change in the market timings without your reference? The daylight saving system is being followed throughout the world, and especially once it is being incorporated in the US, daylight saving system is being followed. Then others who are trying to communicate with people in US, they have to follow necessarily the same timing, and only then they will be available in the respective places. So that is very important. And for the past 10 years, I have been observing that whenever there is a shift in the daylight saving time, then I also find the shift in the market activity time. So the same shift in market activity time has been noted down, and consistently they are showing the false move during the gap times, etc. Based on that, I had derived these timings which are followed by that of the place. You can watch and find what timings they are following it, because whenever they make a quick move, you can understand that followed by 30 minutes move, then you will be able to understand, okay, this is the time they are starting the market, this is the gap time. And if you make a study in relation chart or any other figure, if you try to relate it to that of the timing, and see, when I say related to that of the timings, I am referring to that of the intraday physical time, not 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, and 4 hours charts and things like that. Intraday timings, the Japanese session, European session, US session, the gap time. Then you watch from today, then you will be able to understand that activities will be preponed. So instead of 14:30 GMT, they will start the US session by 13:30 GMT. Then you can understand. So there are only two possibilities. One is that of the standard time, how they are making use, and subsequently the daylight saving time, how they are making use. So once you get to know about it, this is not the first time I am showing you the change in the timings followed by that of the big players. I've been telling it in the Tracking the Forex Market Together webinar many times. L1C. So possible scenario for USD CAD as per your forecast estimate is to reach below parity. No, I'm not expecting them to reach below parity. Probably they may go below that of 1.01 quickly in an intraday, because CAD is a currency in which volume is very less when compared to other currencies. And multi-year low, they have shown here not even the parity. They have brought it down to 0.9060. That capabilities they have. So probably they may go below that of 1.01 briefly and then subsequently gain. Because every day 20 pips, if they drop, then the people will lose the patience. Probably they will hold the positions and lower the stops 20 pips, thinking that okay, let us not get it stopped out. And subsequently they will make one big downward stop on the drive. You know how they had done it in the case of GBP. Similar way they will try to do it in the case of CAD, wherein the volume is less. Eric, when you say late European session, you mean 13 GMT or closer to 16 GMT? No, I am referring to that of the late European session of 13 GMT. See, the 16 GMT is the timing we are following just for the stock markets to get closed. But whereas the currency markets close earlier, the currency market in the sense, the currency conversion trades get closed by 13 GMT, then the US transactions happen. So that is how the players follow it. So whatever they follow, we should try to follow it. Only then we will be able to read them, first of all. Grow. So will today's high during the European session be the high until Wednesday Japanese session? Yes. Which timing they are expected to start sliding in European session? Later part or mid part? So during the later part of the European session, they are expected to drop. Around 11:30 GMT, they will start dropping. If GBP and Euro is expected to gain, will USD CAD not expected to drop? Yeah, that is what I said. They will try to hover around 1.0167 and probably briefly cut it by another 20 pips and hold it. They'll probably cut another 20 pips and hold it tomorrow. That is how they could do, and finally they may go below that of 1.01. Probably they can go to that level of 1.0084 or 86 and then subsequently make the gain in the case of USD CAD. And they are trying to trap all the buyers in the case of USD CAD. It's nothing to do with that of the economic conditions or because of the crude oil rise and things like that. So many times we have seen crude oil trading around $81. Still, CAD was trading around 1.05, 1.06. So don't try to relate. People will try to fool us by relating because of crude oil. Canadian dollar is looking very strong. But you take the same crude oil around the 81 area and see how exactly on that particular day Canadian dollar was behaving. Then you will be able to understand these are all excuses from time to time people give in order to convince us. But just laugh at them. Nothing more than that you can do. Is this the second week of trading in March? No, this is the third week of trading in March. The first week is from 1 to 5. The second week is from 8 to 12. The third week is from 15 to 19. Then the fourth week is 22 to 26. Then the fifth week will be 29 to 31. And afterwards 1 and 2 will also be falling in that April 1st and 2nd. And whenever you find in a particular week the month end and also the new month begins, you will come across more and more volatile moves because the option expiry they will make a downward move or an upward move and subsequently make an aggressive move opposite to that. So you will come across more and more volatile move. But again in the month of April, Euro and GBP are expected to gain the level. So accordingly they will make such volatile moves. If you watch it carefully, you will be able to really read their intentions very clearly. You need not even depend upon it. You yourself will be able to read it. What is the forecast for yen crosses? Yen crosses, I explained that USD yen they are expected to drop during the year to start with. And that time, when they drop Euro and GBP, then you will come across another 50-60% drop, then subsequently gain the level. And USD yen is expected to go above that of 91 towards close of year session or by tomorrow onwards. So at that time, yen crosses will not have much of a drop downside. So week beginning, you always allow them to show the false move, then subsequently take the positions, then you will be very easily able to book profit from the market. Okay, winners. Based on the theory that the first movement are false, what is the best moment to enter into a negotiation if we use candles as a parameter of 1 hour and 4 hour? For example, the 15 and the first 1 hour usually have false move. Do you agree? Have something to say about it? As far as the false moves are concerned, they are not having any specific time frame. The false move can be for a session. So a session is around 6 to 7 hours. So if you take into consideration 4 hour candle chart, then obviously you might come across 2 candles, around 1.5 candle formation. If you are using 1 hour chart, probably 6 candles might be formed. So obviously the candle formations are in relation to that of the timings which are completed. So if they happen to make 2 sessions or the entire day as a false move, then it is very difficult to demarcate using the candles. So what I suggest is, you watch the live market port page and see that how they are handling the high, how they are handling the low, where they are making a consolidation, then why they are making such consolidation. If you ask those questions, you'll be able to understand. So lower level consolidation if they make, then understand that they wanted to make a downward stop. So a downward stop, and why they are doing in the week beginning itself, you know that the first week of March, they made a quick drop in the case of GBP from 1.5160 to 1.478. Why is there such a hurry? And they said that the election uncertainty and deficit, etc. What happened to those things? What happened to election uncertainties now? Nobody talks about it. That is how they create the hype. And when nobody is expecting a very big move in the market on a first day, they will try to make it and try to hit all the level stops and then subsequently make the gain. So week beginning, they are making a downward stop and keeping near that of the low and making a downward stop. And understand that they have wanted to make a rise. So then the drop is a false move. In case if they are holding near that of the high and making an upward stop during the week, what is the hurry for them to do a gaining move in that particular time when the week has got so many data to be released and things like that? So you can understand that, okay, they are making an upward stop and as a week beginning false move and subsequently they wanted to drop. So you'll be able to read it from time to time. Then midweek they will try to make either way moves. So that also you will be able to find out whether they are making a downward move first or an upward move first. They make an upward move first, then they wanted to drop. If they make a downward move first, then they wanted to make a rise. See, if I want to cheat you, I have to first of all deceive you or make you to believe it and subsequently deceive you. This is the common tactic of a cunningness. That is what they are trying to do with us, but we try to relate it to economic conditions of the countries and get confused. So they are all nothing but the diversion techniques. Then please repeat your view on Australian dollar. Australian dollar made the gain and then subsequently made the drop. And the net change is only 7 pips negative now. So they could make a downward move to that of 91 or slightly below that of 91. And probably 90, 70 or 90, 67 they should be able to show in this week and then subsequently gain above 92 or 90 to 50 this particular week. Then Jimbo, are you saying that from Wednesday onwards we should see higher levels in Euro and GBP? Yes, Jimbo. Is this wait time only be seen at the session beginning and the session end, or I think he is referring to gap time. Also during mid-session. Would that not mean that we have to watch the market at all times? Okay, he refers to wait time only. So whenever you want to trade in the case of majors, you try to focus only on the start of the session and end of the session. Then try to do safe trade. And if you want to watch all the time and try to do a little bit of swing trades, even you can watch the gap time. The gap time moves are positive. When they drop during gap time, try to pick up some position. And during the first 30 minutes of rise, you should be able to book profit, whether it is 15 pips or 30 pips or 40 pips. That sort of acceptance you have, then you can try to do swing trades, as many trades as possible. I'll show the slides in a hurry. I have Euro sell position at 36.50 and GBP sell at 50.40. Any chance to get these places tomorrow? Yeah, probably wait till Wednesday European session, if you're Wednesday Japanese session, and if you are able to probably try to keep stop at entry and wait, and if you are able to see that, you should be happy about it and try to turn long around those levels. Do you expect 1.49 before and after FOMC? 1.49 area might be difficult. They may come to 1.50 area. Clock move forward, Sunday 28. Okay, thanks Raj. You have given that when exactly Europe is going to change the timings. So let me just focus the camera over that of the slide again. So the timings of the market. Probably you can take a screenshot and make a note of it. Only European session is getting reduced up to, instead of 14 GMT, it will be 13 GMT closing time. 13 to 13:30 GMT will be the gap time. Then US session 13:30 to 20:30 GMT. These are all the changes, and the gap time also starts from that of 20:30. So because of that, FOMC meeting minutes also coming by 18:15 GMT instead of 19:15 GMT. And with regard to the forecast, Japanese session upward gap opening, then swing and slide moves are expected. So they have already cut the low, initial low, what I showed it, and probably they will make one more downward stop and around 6:30 GMT. Then subsequently firm up quickly and cut the high, and then probably use some data or news or whatever it is, or go near that high at least, then subsequently make the slide. And that will give that impression that 1.38 is a strong resistance and Euro is not able to go, and 1.52 is a strong resistance. Euro GBP is not able to breach that. Then that will give a very satisfying answer to the technical analysis. But subsequently you will find that they are expected to go above that, and then everybody will say that resistance becomes support. Then US session, swing and firm up moves are expected. So week beginning false move could be seen today, and till Wednesday you will come across this sort of swings will be there around Tuesday towards close of US session or Wednesday early Japanese session. So in case if you are not able to watch early Japanese session, then Tuesday towards close of European US session, you can take buy positions and hold it. As far as position trade is concerned, then you will be able to see substantial profit. Euro and GBP are expected to go above that of 1.39 or 1.40 in this particular week, and also in the case of GBP, it is expected to breach 1.55. These are all expected estimates because many traders have been asking it for a long time. So I am giving it here, and still there will be so many ifs and buts. So they are all nothing but theoretically estimated levels. We have to practically see what is going to happen in the actual. So I take this opportunity to thank everybody who has come here to attend to my webinar. I'm sorry for the delay start of the webinar, and thanks for ethics strict understanding all this and trying to help the visitors who are willing to listen to the experts. So, see you again tomorrow. I will post this content in a blog to follow up. Thank you one and all.